Hey guys, I'm Naya and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we're gonna be doing the best decks tier list, as I like to do it about once a month. And I think it's been about 3 weeks since the last one. Some things have changed, some decks did well at events, and we're gonna discuss all of that. We have, as per usual, about 70 decks. I think it's 75. I have added some things and grouped up a couple things. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. We have a long video ahead of us, although I will try to make it short so you don't need to sit there for like 3 hours. But yeah, before we begin, I would like to encourage you to let me know down in the comments what you think of the video and also what you think overall about the decks. Which decks are you playing, if you agree or disagree with my opinions, all of that. And also subscribe. A lot of you are still not, and I would love for you to be part of this community. So we are going to be starting with the ABC deck. I didn't group it together with Tyrion, just because of course you can build it however you want, although with the Tyrion stuff it did receive support, so that's nice. You can play the Brave engine with it as well, and overall I think ABC is it's quite nice, it's quite strong, and I will put it in Rogue. I think it's going to just stay somewhere at the top of Rogue moving forward. And then we have Adamantia. I'll put it in Not Good. It's not really doing anything, achieving anything. It's not bad, but it's one of those combo decks that just cannot really hang with the best of them, and at that point you would probably rather play a better combo deck. So we're on deck 2 and I'm already getting hot. So yeah, then I did a new one. I created a new one, and it's the Adventure Punk deck, and I won't spend too much time on it. I will place it in tier 1. It's a solid tier 1 contender, and the deck has been doing really well and proving itself to be able to hang with Despia, which is really important right now. But what I wanted to say about the actual deck was that it's so funny to me because the base deck was essentially this, but now it just changed and uses punks, and nothing really changed that much. But it's so cool to me to see those decks where they're like, you know, a bunch of engines together, and the Scythe Log, usually, the Brave engine. It's always nice to see those decks like being a good contender like all the time, because with the Alba structure deck everybody ran to play Despia, and now everybody's just sort of just chilling and just moving back and playing the base deck that's not the base deck anymore, but it still essentially does the same thing. So you know, there's that, there's this deck, and yeah, it's a good contender, honestly. Then we have Altergeist. I'll put it in Not Good, somewhere towards the bottom probably. It's one of those trap decks that's just not good enough, and at that point the player base will probably choose a better one. It's not exactly horrible, but it did get power crept, I think, and yeah, it can just easily be dealt with. Alright, then we have Beach Trooper. It's really not that great. It performed well with the addition of Anaconda and DPE, and right now without them, it just cannot really perform. Then we have Blackwing. Right now, Blackwing is still not good. I'll put it at the top though, next to Adamantia probably. With the support, I think it's going to be quite amazing, honestly. And I'm really excited for it because of course the Blackwing duelists, which I'm sure are excited for the support as well. And yeah, just the deck itself is not that great yet. Like it's just not there yet. We cannot move it higher. Then we have Blue Eyes. I guess I'll put it in Not Good, somewhere towards the bottom half. You know, it's Blue Eyes. It did get support, but it's still just Blue Eyes, and it cannot do any better than that. Maybe this was explained poorly, but if you know Blue Eyes, I would sort of say that you're familiar with how the deck just really isn't quite it. So there's that. We have BA. I'll put it in Not Good, somewhere towards the top though, because BA is one of those decks similarly to Adamantia, for example, where it does its thing, but that thing is not enough. Like, that sounds weird, but you know, you have BA, almost everything is just, or is everything, well, except Beatrice, so not everything is exactly unlimited, but you have everything, and you have the traps, you even have PK stuff if you want to mash those together. Like, you can do all of that, but the deck will still not be able to just get on the level of the other ones. So you know, it's still not good. Then we have Cyber stuff. I think I'll put that in Rogue. The deck honestly is not one of the best ones, and that's why it cannot really show what it does to the fullest potential, because not a lot of people are picking it up. And I also like to do these tier lists based on the amount of actual representation of decks. But in itself, I think the Cyber's deck is definitely Rogue, maybe towards the bottom, but it's not bad. You know, it does its thing. It can easily also decay you with access code if it survives the turn, which it usually will. And yeah, honestly, Rogue I think is cool. Then we have Crusadia, and it's really not good. I'll put it maybe above Beat Trooper, because it still does, you know, the OTK. It's nothing really changed for Crusadia, but no, I don't think anybody will pick it up. Just a straight going second deck like that, I don't know, it feels weird in today's meta, and overall it's just not that great. Then we have Cyber Dragon. I think I'll put it in Rogue. I don't think it's going to be very high though. Maybe above Cybers though, because of the Tyrian support, and we have a couple decks that the Tyrians boosted up quite a bit, which would be of course ABC as we have it here, and also Cyber Dragon, since they are machines. So I think Cyber Dragon is not a bad deck, but it can really use any help it can get in terms of different engines or techs, just like it used Anaconda, just like it can use Tyrians now. So yeah, then we have Dark Magician. It's really not good. I'm kind of nice today, I think. Nothing has been put in the Brock category yet. I think I need to be a bit more tough on these decks. We'll see. So Dark Magician is really not that great. It can easily get countered. Maybe we can put it above Blue Eyes, because it is better in my opinion, and it keeps receiving some kind of support, but people still don't really pick it up. So it's Dark Magician. I don't know what else to say. Then we have DDD, easily a tier 2 contender. I think the deck is incredible, but as I like to say pretty much all the time, the deck is really hard to pilot, hard to master. There are legit 1,000 lines, and you need to see in advance. You need to know sort of what to do if your opponent disrupts you in a certain point in the combo. Overall, the deck is really hard, but it can hang with the best of them, I think. Like, well, it's not exactly goated, but I think it can still do really well. It also has the advantage of people not really knowing the combo lines or the entire effects of cards or stuff like that. You know, you sort of know what DDD does, but then like it just catches you off guard, especially if the player is really good. So tier 2 for sure. Then we have Despia. I'll still put it in goated. The deck is not that incredible, but what really makes it that good would be the actual recursion of all of your cards that it has. Like, you legit do everything you can and you still have a ton of cards in your hand, or at least on your field, ready to give you advantage and follow up on the following turn and then on the third turn, and I don't think you can lose, legit. Like, you have so many cards and so much advantage, which has always been the turning point in this game. You know, who has the most cards, resources available to them, the most follow-up, the best grind game. And Despia honestly has a ton of that. So there's that, and by itself is also a really, really nice deck, a really strong deck. So yeah, for sure goated still. Then we have Dynamorphia. I think I'll put it in Rogue, actually. Like, it's not that bad, honestly. Like, I remember a Dynamorphia player saying to me, like, I had like 3 or 7 life points or something, but my opponent couldn't do anything, and I just won. Then we have Dinos. For sure a Rogue contender, like top of Rogue. Probably next to ABC, maybe above it. Let's do above ABC. Dino is really nice, especially... you know, everybody does the Scythe Log, and Dino just doesn't care that much. I would say it's not exactly one of those decks that gets hindered by it, so there's something. And overall, Dino has always been, like, a strong contender, I would say, even though it's missing, like, the miscellaneous Saurus, of course, or more copies of it. But if it gets going, it's really hard to stop, I think. So yeah, Dino for sure, top of Rogue. And then we have Chidraco. It's really not good. It's honestly quite bad. Like, it's just, I guess we can place it here, but then we'll just stack some other ones on top of it. It's not that high, but it's really not that good because, yeah, it can receive Dynamite Knight at however many copies, but as long as Masterpiece is gone and the Diagram is a 1, it's just taken care of. That's it. I'm not exactly a huge supporter of those cards coming back at 3 or something, so there's that as well. The deck will get boosted by it for sure, but right now it's just good in the not good category. That sounded weird, but you know what I mean. It can just stay here. Then we have Dragon Link, and Dragon Link is for sure a tier 2 contender. I'll maybe put it below DDD because I still think DDD is so busted, and also people don't really know how to counter it, whereas Dragon Link has been the same, not exactly the same, but everybody knows essentially what it does and what the cards do. Although right now it can be paired up with the Brave engine, and also we have seen some interesting techs being used, and it did win the French Nationals, which is an amazing accomplishment. Overall, Dragon Link, I think everybody sort of was just like, oh, Dragon Link is so bad now. I mean, I also said like it's so power crept, and I still sort of stand behind that. But I think that we sort of just all strayed away from Dragon Link just because we felt like Despia is going to dominate it so much. And right now, nobody is playing the Albalenatus because nobody's playing Dragon Link, so consequentially people can start playing Dragon Link because Despia won't counter it anymore, and then Despia players can play those cards again, and it's just this ongoing loop. So yeah, I guess the player that played, at the French Nationals made the right call of people not going... Oh my, I'm speaking too fast. Of people not going to be prepared for Dragon Link. So yeah, tier 2 contender for sure. Then we have Dragon Maid, which is not good. Like, it's probably at the top of not good because it still does its Dragon Maid thing, but I don't know, it doesn't really seem like a threat. The stuff that it accomplishes, like the end boards, are not that hard to deal with. And that's why I think it cannot really contend and be in the rogue slot or something like that. So yeah, then we have Dragoonity also down here. Also one of those decks that, does its thing and it's not enough. It doesn't accomplish enough. And if it gets disrupted, it's not like it can live through a lot of hand traps. And right now with this trend of like around 12 hand traps, which would be Impermanence Ash, DD Crow, Veiler, something along those lines at least, when you have as many hand traps available to some strategies to consistently run them, then you can easily counter decks like these, which are just combo decks that cannot really achieve their boards through a lot of hand traps. Then we have Drytron, and I will put it in tier 2. I think Drytron is getting better and better because Benton did come back to 2, and people are right now sort of... things have become more... How to put this? Drytron has been one of those decks that you can utilize a lot of engines in, and right now I think the builds are sort of getting quite consistent. Like you can play this route, this route, this route, and then players just pick it, stick to it, and usually it's going to work because Drytron can play, for example, Mystic Mine, because it has the field spell, then it can run set rotation, all of that. The engine itself is still like just really nice. You have everything at 3, you have your names available to you, you have the Ben 10, and then you have all of those other engines which you can run, which would be the Herald or the Megalith route or the Vanity's Ruler. Just, you can do whatever. And that's why I think this deck is just really, really nice. If it gets going, I think it's quite hard to stop. Because they can play through a lot of hand traps if the player is good. So there's that as well. Yeah. You have a lot of stuff available in the Drytron deck, so there's that. And then we have the Machina deck, which this just represents anything machine, any kind of Earth machine variant, and I'll put it in tier 2, probably somewhere towards the bottom, but still tier 2 because Therians gave a lot to this strategy, just like they did for a lot of other ones. So I think this deck is really going to become a threat in my opinion. It can also run the floodgates easily, as for like rivalry, stuff like that, skill drain. So yeah, I think it's really busted. And then we have the Eldritch deck, which is for sure going to be a tier 1 contender. Eldritch is really nice. Like, it's just so strong being paired together with Brave, for example, with just a lot of different things. And it's really proving consistently how it can perform really well and do well at tournaments. So I think it's suitable to be a tier 1. The first one in the bra tier, probably one of the few ones, to be honest, is going to be Exodia. It's Exodia. You know, like, just no. Like, it's in the bra tier. You can play it with Mystic Mine if you want, but it's still going to be the Exodia deck at the end of the day. Then we have Flunder, tier 1, I think. Maybe bottom of tier 1 or top of tier 2. I don't know. I think bottom of tier 1 still. Some decks just cannot deal with the barrier statue, and even if they can, the Thunder player is going to have that Book of Moon just set and ready, so there's that as well. It has 1-card combos, which means that since it plays a lot of them, it can consistently get going, so, you know, a really, really nice deck, I think. A really strong one. Then we have Fluffle. It's just not good. I don't know. I'm so dissatisfied with myself because I don't put anything in the bra tier. So I should start doing that, I think. I'll put Fluffle in bra. Like, it's just... I'll put it above Exodia though, but it's just not that great. I get that it OTKs and just does things, but I don't think it does enough. Then the Totally Awesome is representing Paleo, so Paleozoic frogs, and that's just not good. It's really bad. Like, it's just one of those trap decks that's just really the last choice, probably. It doesn't do enough, definitely. So yeah. Then we have Goki. I'll put it in Rogue, maybe somewhere towards, like, this part, towards the bottom. Like, it's not bad, and I get that it does a lot of things if it goes uninterrupted, which is not going to be the case most of the time, and it can also play through some things, but I don't think it's as resilient as some other combo decks. Also put it here because you have the Codebreaker stuff and all of that. But yeah, it's not higher than that. Then we have Heroes. I'll put Heroes in Rogue. Like, Heroes are not bad. Maybe above Dynamorphia. Let's do it like that. Or maybe even above these decks. Yeah, that's a bit better. So Heroes can actually still utilize DPE, which is really nice. They got, you know, hero lives to 3, so they got more consistent, which is also great. And overall, I think Heroes can just completely catch you off guard and just easily OTK you, or a massive amount of resources. There's also that, like, it's not a bad deck at all. Then we have Attignister. I'll put it in Rogue, maybe somewhere over here. The deck did well at the YCS, and overall Attignister is also one of those 1-card combo decks, which is always nice because it's consistent, because you can play a lot of hand traps as well, or tech cards, which in today's format is really needed. So yeah, the deck is really not bad. Then we have what's it called? I completely blanked out. We have the Infernoble Knights, which are not good, especially now that Auroradon is banned. So we'll do it somewhere. I guess we can put it down here. It's not going to achieve anything in today's meta, I think. Cool. Then we have Infernoids, also not that great. Maybe next to Crusadia. Yeah, just one of those strategies that can easily get overpowered by other ones. Then we have Invoked. I'll put Invoked at the bottom of tier 2. I think it's, in my opinion, Invoked is not bad. It still has pretty much everything available to it. But I think right now, if you're an Invoked player, you probably switched over to Despia because it's quite similar. So consequently, Invoked is not represented that much anymore. So there's that. And deck itself is not bad at all. And it's not really changed also. But you know, it's not exactly represented enough to be higher than this. So yeah. Then we have Cosmo. I don't know, at this point, if you're playing Cosmo, that should probably go in the bra tier. Like, I think I'll put Cosmo in the bra tier. Let's be completely honest. And, you know, put Cosmo in the bra tier because it needs to go there. It's Cosmo. Like, the format is way, way stronger than the Cosmo deck. Then we have Evo Twins. I'll put them in Rogue. Like it's a solid rogue contender, but let's decide where. I guess next to Atignister, it does pretty much the same thing in the sense of it has a lot of space, it has one card combos, it just accomplishes, you know, the end board quite easily, and yeah, like I said, mostly I think it's consistent and has a lot of space. So both of them are sort of on a similar power level, I think. Then we have Lunalight, and just Lunalight is really not doing anything. I'll put it down here, like legit, I don't think anybody is going to pick up Lunalight. Legit, somebody will pick up Dark Magician before they pick up Lunalight. So let's just, you know, squish it in between over here. Like if it's not paired up with Tri Brigade first, it's not going to do anything by itself. You know, I get that Tinky is not at 1 anymore, but still that I guess pseudo second copy of Tiger I don't think is enough. So yeah, I mean, we could put it a bit, let's do it a bit higher. Like, let's not do it injustice. I don't think it's there yet, though. Maybe if Tiger gets unlimited or something, but that would probably be too busted. So yeah. Then the new addition is this mashup of Lyrilusk Brigade. I'll put it over here. It's like half Lyrilusk, half Brigade. So I think right now the Bird Up deck is not played without either of these engines. I think it should be mashed up to sort of tap into the best potential that the deck can offer, because I don't think just the pure Tri Brigade stuff is enough anymore, and Lyrilusk cards just provide a lot of extenders, and the deck honestly like did well. I think it was at the French Nationals, and overall it's quite consistent, and it achieves the end boards just, you know, easily and consistently. I sometimes just think that those end boards are not enough. Something like a Despia deck can just easily just go through that, I think. So yeah, maybe that's why it's not exactly tier 1 or something, but it's still not a bad deck at all, and tier 2 I think is really suitable. Then we have Madolche. I guess Madolche can be bottom of Rogue. It's just Madolche. It has always done pretty much the same thing. I dislike the deck so much, but I cannot take away from it that it's definitely Rogue. Then we have Magical Musket. It's really not that great. It reminds me sort of Dragon Mate. Like it you know, does something, but it's not enough. Like, yeah, I get that you can have all of these spells and traps in hand and just throw them at your opponent, but you know, if the first monster or the link gets disrupted, that's pretty much it. So, you know, somewhere in here in the not good slot. Then we have Grand Maju. It's probably at the top of not good, honestly, because somewhere over here, I guess, because Pot of Desires is back at 2, so that's a boost to Grand Maju actually. But yeah, at that point, if you're choosing a going second strategy, I guess you would choose Dinos. I don't know, like Grand Maju is just not that great. Then we have what's it called, Marincess, and it's in the Bra tier. It's, you know, it's not enough still. I think maybe we can put it in the not good because it did get support. So, you know, it's with the support, it's not it's not that horrible, but it's still not good. Then we have Mathmac. I'll put it in Rogue, I guess somewhere over here, and we can put do we want to change anything? No, I think it's good. Like maybe here, right next to Cyber Dragon. I guess that's fine, or above it. Let's do above it. Okay, I'll stop messing with it now. Yeah, Mathmac is okay, and it is getting support. I don't really have much to say about Mathmac. Like, it's not exactly a horrible deck. It's just not the deck a lot of people would lean towards. But yeah, it's still not bad. Then we have Mekk-Knight. It's really not good. Mekk-Knight just makes me so sad because it was such a cool deck. Like, Mekk-Knight Invoked was just such a dope deck, but it never could get among the best ones, and that just makes me sad to this day, but it's still not enough. And at this point, it's just a meme of, oh, don't play into the Mekk-Knight column, which is like, you know, it's just sad. It just makes me sad. Let's move on. Then we have Mermail, like just Atlantean Mermail. I'll put it in Rogue, actually. Maybe next to Dynamorphia. The deck is honestly not that bad, but it's quite reliant, I think, on, you know, just fiber plays and all of that. Like, it does something, but I think it can easily get stopped, especially with something like Nibiru, if they're not able to discard your cards, you know, look at your hand. So yeah, I think over here is fine. And then we have Monarchs, which will still go in the Brood tier. You know, it's Monarchs. They brick, they don't do enough, and they're really reliant on the field spell to even be able to stun the opponent. So if the field spell is not up, and right now when you need to have a lot of back row removal, even maybe main decked because of Mystic Mine, like what's someone gonna do with Monarchs, you know? Then we have Mystic Mine is the representation of just a Mystic Mine burn deck, which I think is really bad. I think that deck is so bad. Let's not put it, honestly, do we want to put it in the Brood tier? Okay, I'm putting it in the Brood tier, but with the disclaimer that that's only because if you're playing that deck, like, that's my only reaction. Like, it can go just straight up in the Brood tier, because you cannot, you know, with just an easy hard take that to an event. I don't think that's an expression. I'm struggling a bit, but you know what I mean. Like, you cannot, with a clear conscience, take a Mystic Mine burn deck to an event. That's all I'm saying. So then we have Necros. It's not good. It has been popular a while back, and right now it's just not that great. And the Numeron stuff is also just like, at this point, if you're playing this, like, why? You know, just why? I'll put it down here, I guess. Then we have Orcus. It's also not good. Harp Horror is the representative, but like, it's banned, so it's not. Orcus is not doing enough. I guess we can put it here. Like, the gear suit just never goes through. Let's just put it that way. It's not happening. Like, the Orcus is just not good. Plunder Patrol, I'll put in Rogue. Maybe like above Madolce. It's not bad, especially the pilot is good. I think it can really catch some people off guard. And also with the addition of the Brave engine, I think that's an extra boost. And yeah, the deck is really it's not that bad. Then we have Pendulum. Anything Pendulum, I think, is bottom of Rogue because of the addition of the Brave stuff. And Beyond the Pendulum is also a really nice boost to the entire any kind of Pendulum deck you want to play at this point. Then we have Phantom Knights. I think I'll put them at the top of Rogue. It's mind-blowing to me how Phantom Knights, I figured, are going to be so good with the addition of Brave, and they're just not. It's honestly insane to me. Like, how can it be so different here in the TCG? But they're just not. Well, let's do it bottom of tier 2. Let's not do them that wrong, but they're just not performing. They're not being represented. They're so weird because if you don't have the perfect build, you're going to brick and hands are going to be awkward. And also, if you don't really nail this deck, like if you cannot just simply play it without overthinking your stuff, if you're not familiar with it, I think you're going to just do terrible because the deck is quite hard. So there's that as well. There's Sprankets. You know, it's not good. It's really not good. I'll put it somewhere over here. I don't want to put them too low because it hurts my heart, but you know, it's really not that great. I think I'll put it below Dragon Maid. Nobody is playing them right now. You need to open the perfect hand, which is not always going to happen. And at the point in time where you know you're not going to consistently open your combo, I don't think a deck is worth picking up. So then we have Psyframe. Honestly, I'll put Psyframe in the Brood tier. Like, if you're playing Psyframe, well, no, okay, I take that back. I'm going to put in the not good slot. Like, I guess somewhere down here. They're just not good. Okay, then we have Punktherian, which I also created this little picture of a mashup, but it's the tier maker cut it weirdly, so the Punk Xiaomin is like missing the head, but you get the point. So I think I'll put it in tier 2, but I need to decide where. So let's do it like this. Okay, I'll put it next to the Bird Up deck. Okay, I like it that way. So Punk Tyrion, I think, is a really interesting deck, but right now with everybody sort of leaning towards the adventure punk deck, I think that's what the case is. Like anybody with a punk engine is just going to put it in that deck if they have the brave stuff anyway, for example. So Punk Tyrion is not that highly represented because of it, and also the Tyrion King Regulus is quite expensive, so if you're not going to invest in it, I should say, that there's also that. And yeah, the deck itself is really not bad. I think I'm looking forward to see how it actually performs in the meta moving forward. I think it has a lot of potential. Then we have Red Eyes. I'll put this in the broad tier as well. Red Eyes is just really bad. It has always been worse than Blue Eyes and Dark Magician. So yeah, it's just not that great. Then we have Salamangreat, and I'm so excited to put Salamangreat in tier 2. I think I'll put it high. I'll put it quite high. I think I'll put it over here. Honestly, Salamangreat has been doing so well, and I love to see it. I love to see the the old format, the Eternal Toss format, all of these decks I love to see perform, so that's why I'm a big fan of Sky Striker doing well, Salamangreat doing well, the other two decks not exactly, but you can't have everything. I don't want Orcust back though, so I should point that out as well. But Salamangreat has been doing really, really well, and the Deco Talker Heat Soul is an incredible addition. You just need to go through your cards to see your Salamangreat stuff and to also see your hand traps, because you have a ton of space to play those. And Access Code, of course, being the easy OTK, and it's a really nice deck. I'm really excited for it. Then we have Shadows. They're not good. They're honestly not that great. If you don't play it with Invoked, you're not going to do anything with them, I think. So I'll put it down here. Then we have Sky Strikers, solid tier 2 contender. I'll put it somewhere over here, I guess. Like, we can put it next to Salamangreat, let's be honest. Sky Striker is doing really well. And, I don't want to get into the entire Mystic Mine discussion, but Mystic Mine is an addition of Sky Striker right now, and it is doing quite well. So it's just something we need to deal with. It doesn't have DPE anymore. I mean, you can include it if you want, but right now it's just this Mystic Mine Turbo. So there's that when it comes to Sky Striker. I'm just looking over the tier 2 once more to see if I want to arrange anything differently. So I guess we can, do we want to change anything? I might put the Dragon Link a bit lower, and let's do it like that, maybe. I think this is fine. I think this is perfect right now. Okay, then we have Speedroid. It's really not good. Honestly, one of those decks, not really achieving anything, not really being played. Same as Spiral. Like, Spiral is definitely not at full power, and it shows. I guess I'll put it somewhere down here. I guess over here is fine. Then we have Stun. Stun is... Honestly, Stun has always been at the exact same power level because it's going to do the exact same thing each format, but usually it gets outed quite easily, so it's not good. We can put it... Where do we want to put it? I guess next to Paleo or something. Everything down here is quite interchangeable. Guru as well. Like, Guru is really not good. I'll put it maybe above those ones, but I should even put it lower, actually. Maybe down here, and let's put Marinesis lower. Let's do it like this. Guru is definitely one of the Traps decks that you probably wouldn't pick up because other ones are better. It's just not doing enough. Like, there's not a lot to be said about it, but it's not exactly the Trap deck you would lean towards. So yeah, like, it's really not good. Then we have the Sun Avalon deck. I decided to finally put it on the tier list separately. We'll put it in Rogue. I just need to decide where. I guess over here, actually. Like, it's quite high, honestly. I think the Sun Avalon deck, actually, let's put it at the top of Rogue. Honestly, I think this deck is quite a threat if you include the Tyrion stuff, and especially because people don't know what the plant stuff does. So yeah, top of Rogue for sure. And then we have Sword Soul. I'll put it I think I'll put it below the Punk Adventure deck. These two are honestly interchangeable, but I still think the Punk Adventure stuff is stronger because it has so many different engines mashed up together, and it can quite consistently get to the end boards. And also with Sword Soul, it's also consistent and it's so strong going second with the Tiny stuff as well. It has a lot of space for hand traps. It has a lot of flex spots for you to be able to tailor your deck exactly to your liking and to your meta. And it just feels like a very fair deck. Like, it can quite easily get stopped, but it can also just easily overwhelm you and OTK you. Like I said, it has a lot of space. It's really consistent. It's just, I cannot say enough good stuff about Sword Soul. So yeah, I think top of tier 1 for sure. Then we have Synchron. Anything Synchron is, yeah, it's just not good. I think I'll put it down here, not doing anything. And then we have Thunder Dragon, also quite bad. Like, Thunder Dragon probably deserves to go somewhere down here. Like, I guess you can play some, you know, Thunder Dragon light dark combo stuff, but it's, you know, at that point, you're probably going to play something like Dragon Link rather than playing that, and it's just not good. Like, as much as I feel bad about that, it's not good. Then we have Trap Tricks. I don't know. Like, similarly to Guru, it's like, why do you want to play that trap deck if you can play anything else? I guess over here is fine. Trickstar as well, we can put it a bit higher because I know people are sort of doing some stuff with Trickstar, but I still think it's quite bad. Then we have Unchained. I guess we can put it somewhere towards the top of not good, or maybe bottom of Rogue. Let's do bottom of Rogue. Honestly, the deck is not that horrible, although you can quite easily out it, but like, if you cannot get rid of those cards by doing anything other than destroying them, then you're really going to have a problem. So I don't think the deck is that horrible. Like, you just need to sort of be prepared for it and know what it does and know how to counter it. Then we have Utopia. Utopia is just, yeah, but not doing anything for sure. And then let's move on to Virtual World. I'll put them in tier 2. I put them in tier 1 on the last tier list because I had higher hopes for it. And also because I think my viewpoint on Virtual World was just plain wrong. I thought the Brave stuff boosted it. It doesn't really. Looking back at it now, I also played it at Nat. I don't want to spend too much time on that. I just... probably the build could have been better without the Brave stuff, even though that didn't seem to me at the beginning. So I'll put it in tier 2. I just need to decide where. I think I'll put it below Puncterian. Maybe that's a bit low, but it's so inconsistent at times. And then when you add something like the Brave stuff, you just make it even more inconsistent, although you can do well going second because of the addition of Brave. So at that point, it's just this confusing build of things that just clash together, because on one hand you want to play it, on the other you don't. So it's just kind of weird. And I get that it has this huge extra deck of utility, but if you don't draw good, like, it's not going to do anything, and that's, I think, not enough in today's meta. You need to have a consistent deck and a good deck, and Virtual World right now is just not it, sadly. Then we have World Chalice. I'll put it in the Bruh tier. Like, World Chalice cannot do anything, even though how cool it is and how much I love the deck, which is really besides the point because it's just not good. So Bruh tier for sure. Zombie, somewhere at the top of not good, I guess. Like, here would be fine. Like, the deck is not that horrible, but it's really not seeing play. And if you play zombie stuff, you're probably including Eldritch as well. And, you know, when you do that, it's going to become an Eldritch deck. So it should automatically go a bit higher, but still not that high. But just pure zombie, I don't think it can do anything. Then we have Zodiac. Yeah, Zodiac is just not good, and it's also not seeing play, so I don't know, let's put it somewhere over here. Like, in theory, it's not that horrible going second because it can easily utilize Zeus. Hold on, let me make it so you could see it a bit better. I guess, hopefully, when I edit it, you can see it well. So yeah, you can play Zeus, but I don't think that's enough right now. So yeah, I think that would be it. Hopefully this video wasn't too long. I tried to one take it, so I don't know how long it took me, but if you're here until the very end, I appreciate you so much. And yeah, let me know if you agree, disagree, everything I've said before. I don't want to repeat myself. Also like the video if you liked it. Sub to the channel. Check out all the social media, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!